Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. I am Lizzie, your host here on the LizyT show. How are you doing this evening? It's been an incredible ride. Some of you are looking down here and you're seeing a website. Well, this is the Woman on Fire season, as you haven't figured that out yet. I am so excited to be able to sponsor this incredible event that is happening very soon. So I want to make sure that you all get your tickets because it's going to be an event that you cannot miss. It's going to happen on April the 22nd and 23rd of 2023 of this year. We've had 10 years worth of Woman on Fire, and this year is going to be definitely epic because we've missed the last years due to the COVID pandemic. So it's going to be such an incredible opportunity for you to be able to be part of it and meet ladies from all walks of life, things that they have done in the community and that they haven't been recognized, and now this is their opportunity to show the world that they've contributed, that they worked hard, that they have overcome trials, tribulations, struggles, and they've helped the community in such a way that they wouldn't get noticed until a platform like this, like Woman on Fire. And again, I am so honored to be able to talk to those ladies, and I'm not sure I'm going to get to all of them, but I'm going to try to be able to reach every single one of them and share it with you, share with my audience. Remember, this is recorded here on LizyT, not only just on my YouTube channel, but all the social media that we are a part of, and talking about all the social media. We will be shared right on Instagram, Pinterest, Twitch, and YouTube, LinkedIn. Uh, the list goes on. As you can see it on the screen, they're all there. So today, everyone, we will have somebody very interesting. We've been having so many interesting ladies that I don't know what to say. There are one more special than the other. I can't pick right now because they're all so amazing. They make me feel so little, and not only that, they make me feel that I'm growing, that I'm learning with them. And today is not going to be the exception. We're going to be talking to Natasha Halliday. She is a therapist, a professional speaker, and a comedian. Oh my goodness. This is the third time that I've talked to comedians that I've had on the show. So I love them. I love them. It's such an amazing career, or being part of be able to come up with things right on the spot. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, this is going to be interesting and fun. She is also an author. She has worked with supporting individuals with their mental health for over 20 years. Impossible. This lady looks 20 herself, so I don't know what she's talking about. She is currently supporting individuals with their mental health through their private practice. So, an entrepreneur here. She is passionate about helping people and unmask their fear. Love it. Overcome their adversity and build their resilience. I think I need to speak to this lady. We all need that. Uh, a little bit, some people more than others, bring in her message to this topic, and her speaking across the world. Wow. I am in presence of a lady here which has been all over the world. She has been co-author and affirmation journal, and developing her book. Congratulations. After crossing and tight stand up comedy and her booklet list, she has decided to, she couldn't not only do it all at once, and now she's added comedian to her repertoire, of course. Of course. Wow. You guys are going to definitely enjoy this lady because I'm already excited. I'm already excited. So let's bring her to the show to for you to meet with a wonderful round of applause. And let's take that banner. Hello, Natasha. How are you?
Hello. I'm fantastic. How are you?
Great. Nice to meet you virtually, but nevertheless, do not
Nice to meet
worry. We
you.
will be meeting in person soon so I can hug you and kiss you and say, hey, this is going to be we're all in for a ride. So let's talk a little bit about your life, your professional life as a therapist, coach, and I'm going to be talking about being comedian later on. So what inspired you to become this incredible person helping others? Personal experience, somebody in the family. Give us a little bit of a background here.
Well, the funny thing is, when I said I thought I wanted to work in mental health, I thought I wanted to be a psychologist. And so
Oh,
when I was about 7, I wanted to be a psychologist or a lawyer. I was clear I wanted to help people, but I didn't know how. And as I got into my teens, and I was like, okay, both require a lot of reading. And I was like, I don't want to read that much about the law and history, as much as I like history. So then I leaned towards psychology. So I started out as a psychology major, and then changed to a program called Child and Youth Work, which was a diploma college program. And like, I felt like it was custom designed for me. I was in heaven. I was getting to work with youth with different mental health challenges, behavioral challenges. I was absolutely loving it. And then can just continued. It initially was just children and youth. Then I started working with adults and discovered that I don't have necessarily a preference for children and youth. I just love all people. And so I'm happy to help people at any stage in their life. And I, was working in acute mental health in hospitals for, I think, 21 years, and never thought I would go the route of private practice and self-employment. My life
hmm.
very much looks like all the things I said I wouldn't do. And but
Life
you just don't know.
life definitely takes a 360 sometimes and changes, and good for you, I guess. Being on your own, being an entrepreneur, having your own practice, it gives you a little bit more freedom, and it gives you that personalized touch. You set up your time, your hours, the people that you're best work with. And obviously working with children at the beginning, it was a really stepping stone for you to branch out to more, to other cases and other scenarios. Why children? Because I find having teenagers myself is one of the most challenging thing that you could ever. I mean, I take my hat to you guys to be able to work with adolescents and teens until I think they're very challenging. I've seeked myself for coaches and therapists for my own kids. So I'm curious to know why you like torture so much.
I just, even when I was a youth, I said I wanted to work with youth. So my parents actually, when I was in grade 8, sent me to a day camp for the summer. They sent me in the month of July. And in the month of August, I became a volunteer. So some of the kids I was volunteering with were the same age as me. But I just had so much fun. I was like, I want to be of help now. I don't need to come back as a counselor, as a camp attendee. I want to come back as a camp junior counselor. And that's what I did that summer. And then I went back the following summer. And I just love being with children and youth. And the funny thing is, if you meet my parents, everybody they meet, it's like they get a new child. They've just always been embracing children across the world, youth across the world. So I think I kind of get it from them, just loving having fun with younger people, playful
Hmm.
interaction. I'm the type of youth worker. When I was working specifically with children and youth, I did all the
Hmm.
crafts, I played all the games, I got my fingers dirty. I've had many a pair of like white clothing messed up on paint day because it's like I would rather mess up my clothes and have fun than stay clean. So I just always jump right in. I have a blast. It's just so much fun to me.
I guess you're a child yourself. You have immersed yourself, and you love. I guess from the beginning to be able to help kids that have that challenge and that have that difficulty socializing, or having those mental issues, that depression, or especially nowadays, I find that it's a lot more open, and kids are able to talk a lot more have that more freedom to be able to express themselves and figure it out, what is bothering them, and there's a lot more help. So I think that's a perfect fit for you. And it's incredible. Can you share with us what is one of the things that I mean, you already shared that you love to be able to get immersed, but one of the things that attracts you and keeps you going? Because obviously, even me doing the LizyT show, there is days that I don't feel like being in the camera, in front of the camera, and talking to people, but there is days that I can't wait to be here. So what keeps you going, and what encouraged you to have that aha moment? I'm like, this is what I'm doing for.
So one of the things that I think fuels me is the ability to break down information. And I've been teaching at one of the local colleges on and off for years. I'm back this semester. And so I love conveying information in a way that's understandable and palatable. And so when I work with young people or even adults, and they're explaining some of the hardships, and I approach it from an understanding of, let's understand what innate human characteristic is part of this, so that you don't feel that you're the only one, you're not beating yourself up. Let's understand just how human you're being, but some aspect of this isn't working, so we're also going to work at making change to move in a direction that works better for what you want for your life. So I really enjoy the validation of, you're not off in left field. You're doing what we all do as humans. You might be doing it a bit more in this area. Somebody else might be doing it a bit more in this area, but don't feel that you're alone in that. You're doing something very real, very human. I often say to clients, give yourself permission to be human. So that's definitely one of the ways that I feel like I can keep going, is because those aha moments when things make more sense, or those moments of, oh, I don't need to feel like something's wrong with me, because we actually all do this. I might be doing it a bit more right now, but we all do this. Those are the things that I really appreciate about being able to have the dialogues that I do in the therapy practice.
Hmm. Wow. I love the word that you use, Natasha, validation, because and I guess you are a digger. You love to go in a little deeper. I'm sort of kind of the same way as well. And I love the fact that you are telling people, give yourself permission to be not okay all the time. And that's one of the things, as a human being, we want to be perfect, and we know that we're not. No one is perfect. No one is has all the answers. But the fact that you are reassuring your clients and you're patient with that, I think that speaks a lot, and it gives you that takes you a little bit back, and you can breathe, right, and not be feel so guilty that you are not doing the right thing all the time, or it's okay for you not to be doing the right thing. I think it's this is awesome. This is awesome. So I mean, from teaching, having your own practice, and now teaching in a college, comedian, where does that came from?
So I, for years while working at one hospital, one of my colleagues and I used to joke that we were going to go on tour as comedians and call our tour "This Is Why I'm Single." And so I was like, you know what? I got to put this on my bucket list. At least one attempt to see if, yeah, it's one thing to be funny with your friends, but can you make a random group of strangers laugh? That to me is a whole different skill set than being funny with the people who already like you. And I was like, I'm going to try it. So my friend had gotten into comedy and invited me to join a show she had helped organize. And I thought, good, here's my opportunity. I can cross it off my bucket list and go on with my life. And as I walked off the stage, I just thought, I've got to do this again. I had so much fun. It brought me so much joy. I loved hearing people laugh. It was addictive. I had to do it again.
So you definitely got hooked. You definitely got the sting, and yeah, the addiction. I've met several, and I've interviewed several comedians, very well known out there, and one of the things that it to them, it's the common denominator is the the being able to make others happy, to hear those laugh, is that's the whole thing. That's that what makes them the night or the day or whatever they're performing. So definitely, how do you, what is your material, what do you look for, how do you get your information?
So I started by telling the same stories in my dating life that I told other people,
Oh,
and that they
Lord.
were laughing at. So the good thing is I'm like, yeah, I've dated some duds, but now I get to leverage it. I get to make other people laugh. I get to bring joy. And I get to make a little bit money. Like, hey, what's bad about that, right? So I've literally just told some of the stories and it started there. And so I wasn't really writing jokes. I already kind of had a storyteller aspect to me. And so it was learning how to infuse comedy and humor into the stories that I was telling. That's where I started. And then I started kind of going, okay, well, now if I were, what random things are coming up in my head that are funny that I could add? I actually had a conversation when I was working in a hospital and we were talking about emotional support animals. And so somebody said,
Okay.
imagine if there was an emotional support man. Well, that I ran with it. I made a whole joke about an emotional support man. I wrote a fake letter to my fake condo development at the time to say that, you know, I'm going to have somebody else living there, but he's not a tenant, so you can't charge me extra rent. I ran with the whole concept. And at the end, I was just like, he was more work next time I'm getting a dog.
Wow. So is that something that you are going to be adding to your busy schedule, busy life already? I mean, as a having your own practice, I assume that you're very, very busy. You have a good schedule, teaching in a college, and is that something that fits in regularly, or you're gonna leave it on the back burner and do it whenever you're able to? What's the background in there?
I mostly kind of do it as it comes up. I'm not necessarily seeking it out. I've had one or two times where I've seen somebody post something online and I send a message. I auditioned during the pandemic, virtual audition. You had to send in a video for a virtual comedy show out of Plano, Texas. So I did that. Um, but mostly it's just kind of as it comes. And so I'm not doing it a ton. You know, for me, if I feel great if I have one show a month that I'm in, right?
Good.
Because one of the things I feel like being a comedian or having and entered the comedy world is so congruent as a therapist because I get to have nights where I just spend an hour and a half laughing. Well, what greater release, right? Like I just laugh, I have fun, I spend my time with people I enjoy spending my time with. That's good for the soul, right? So I think it really works in
Absolutely.
terms of a way to decompress. To me, it's part of my self care. And so I really get to enjoy it. Sometimes I'm on the stage, sometimes I'm in the audience. It's all good. I'm happy either way, right?
Well, and as a doctor, you can corroborate that being having that 1 hour laughter, any laughter at all, it is actual produces endorphins, which it helps you with your mental health. It gives you that release that cannot be found, as per what I read, the little that I know, cannot be found in certain drugs. I mean, you can assimilate or come close to, but it's not that strong and it doesn't last as long. So
There's
yes.
definite medical and like physical, physiological benefits to laughter, even tears. I don't,
Yes.
I've never had a client not apologize for crying in a session. I'm like, that's based on people telling people not to cry. But I'm like, crying is not in itself a bad thing. And there's actually a chemical release that comes from crying that's cathartic. Laughing has the same, not necessarily the same physiological impact, but also has a great physiological benefit that is really good for us. I don't know
That's
why
right.
people don't try to laugh more. I tell my clients, if you can't think of anything, get on YouTube and watch like Family Feud outtakes or something. Get a bit of a giggle into your day. Who wants to, if your mood's low, you're going to feel a bit of a pause while you laugh. I'm not going to say it's
I
going to
am
cure everything, but why not take a break from feeling sad if you can?
I am so glad, Natasha, that you have mentioned that. This is the second time in the time that I've been with the LizyT show that people have mentioned that I've mentioned several times. But coming from you, an expert, I mean, that is such a. It makes me feel, that I'm not wrong, that I'm saying the right thing. And absolutely, you just said, watch something that makes you laugh. Um, for a couple, for an hour, for half an hour, and your day is going to be feeling much better. If you're a depressed person, if you're going through mental health, just look for those things. That's such a good, happy and healthier alternative remedy that it can help you. Maybe it's not going to make things better, but definitely it will encourage, will help you out.
Yeah.
So Woman on Fire, first time, second
Yes, I
time,
actually
never
hadn't heard
heard
of it
about
when
it.
I got contacted. It was such a pleasant
Okay.
surprise when Allison contacted me and told me that I'm going to be an honoree, and I was like, this is amazing. And as you were saying in the intro, what a nice thing to be able to have somebody say, you know what, kudos to you for what you do.
Yes, yeah. So this is your very first time. You've never participated before. Um, no, wonderful. I've been meeting a lot of ladies that I've been interviewing lately, and they're all first timers, which is incredible because it is going to be a big surprise. You probably don't know what to expect. It's going to be an incredible opportunity. This is my 10th time participating, and I'm so, so excited that a lot of new ladies are part of it. So, who do you know who put your name through, or this is a big surprise for you as well?
I don't know who put my name through, but as I'm seeing the post pop up, I know, I think 5 or 6 of the ladies. I have a feeling who it might be just because of the order. So there was 2
Okay.
ladies up, and there's one who I know, she is phenomenal for recognizing other people. She's always cheering women on. She's always taking time to say good on you, supporting what you do. So I have a feeling, but I haven't checked in with her because I didn't know what the selection process was. I didn't necessarily know until now that somebody puts your name forward.
Wow, good for you. And good for you for being recognized. Obviously, somebody has seen what you do in the community, how hard you work, how difficult being an entrepreneur is, and how important it is to be recognized. And if it was anything else, you would have been recognized a long time ago. But this is local. Actually not. We're in the Allison Harvey right now is international. So it is the perfect time to be part of Woman on Fire and the right time. So congratulations, kudos to you. I don't want to forget, Natasha, to share with the world where can people find you and a website you can share with us. That would be awesome.
So I've got my social media up there. My Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Instagram is at Natasha A. Halliday. I have a lot of A's in my name. um, and my website's natashahalliday.com for that's more tied to speaking. And then my therapy website is emergingresilient.ca. So I have 2 sites
Awesome.
that between my 2 businesses. I don't have a site for the comedy. I might do it eventually, but right now that's not the big priority. Um, I do have a separate IG for my comedy, but I mostly just kind of promote the speaking and the therapy when I'm trying to talk about what I do.
Awesome. Awesome. Uh, the feedback from family members that have known you, mother, father, sister, all your life, and they see you from 5, 6 years old, and now they see you not only having your own practice, not only speaking and teaching, but also having comedy. What do they say? How, I mean, and they must be very, very proud of you. But I love to hear, some comments from people that know you from a long time and they see you now.
Most are not surprised at how much I do because I've been a workaholic for a disturbingly long time. When I was in high school, I was on every sports team I could be on, and in the band and in the choir. I was doing the plays. I was just always a very busy and involved young person. I had so many interests, so I didn't want to limit myself. And so a typical school day for me in grade 9 or 10 was I was leaving to be there for 7:45 for one practice and staying late till almost 5 for something else. So my parents were just like, do you know you have a home? Like, can you be like, you spending a lot of time at school? But that was just, I like to be involved in different activities. What's funny, when I was younger, I loved to talk. It's not a shock, I don't think, to anybody already. And my mom used to always say, "Are you doing what you do best?" when I was on the phone. And we kind of laugh now that becoming a speaker, it's like, she's like, in a way, I pegged it. She goes, "I used to say it's what you do best because I would talk so much. I didn't think it would be something that I would make part of my living, but life often offers you some surprises, and it's about how you respond to it. Then you just roll with some of it. And I've embraced a lot of the things that I didn't think were going to be a part of my life, because now that they are, I fully enjoy them.
Mhm. As a speaker, and one of the things that I do as well, it is that motivate and share my story, get people involved and doing their own thing. And what do you expect when you do? What is your uh, when you do a speaking engagement? What do you look forward to in an audience?
One of the things I really love about speaking is I feel like it gives me an opportunity to drop some of the knowledge that I can drop individually in a therapy session to a larger group. And
Right.
so when I first speaking, I kind of fell into accidentally. I was, working in mental health, and every once in a while somebody say, "Oh, can you speak here about this?" And so at first I didn't even realize people got paid for it. I was just like, if they asked me to, I did. And I think the first time I got a small like check, I was like, I got money for that? Like I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. And because I also like to teach, there's this aspect of educating, because I love to be able to reduce stigma by helping people increase their understanding about mental health. There's a lot
Hmm.
of fear and lack of understanding when it comes to mental health that contributes to stigma, which isolates people. And if I can be a part of reducing that stigma, I'm going to do my part to be a part of that. And so I've loved having opportunities to bring light to different mental health issues. I really became passionate about speaking about resilience as I watched people struggle with it, and kind of debunking myths about resilience, because sometimes people feel like I have to turn my feelings off to just get through. But I'm like, that being robotic isn't what being resilient is, right? It's about how
Good
we
one.
face adversity, but it's not tapping out of our emotions, which are part of what make us human. So I like having that discussion. I then started talking about how to deal with fear, because I was recognizing so many ways that fear impacts us. So my particular view on fear is I talk about what I call unmasking fear, with the idea that we say we have an obligation, but it's really fear behind that. We say the logical thing to do, and it's really fear behind it. So it's uncovering and unmasking the different ways that fear presents itself, to recognize it's actually all fear based, so we can address it, right? Because when we don't realize fear is
Hmm.
impacting us, sometimes we don't know then to do something about it. And then more recently, I've started talking about burnout, especially because I was working in healthcare for many years. I
Right.
specifically like to talk to healthcare workers, but even people in social services, just, looking at how we don't just get burnt out physically and emotionally because of the work volume itself, but how the thoughts we have infiltrate us to mentally burn us out. And that's often what I try to speak to people about, because if I go into a work setting and say, these are the ways to deal with burnout, but they're be giving too much work, they're not being given enough time out, then it's almost counterproductive, because the
It's
system
going.
itself needs to change too. Right. And so now I want to talk more to the level of the change makers, to see what can you do to support your workers. But I like to talk to people about how are we in our thoughts saturating ourselves with negativity. That's part of why we get burnt out. That
Hmm.
we have control over. So I'm not going to challenge people to do something that's outside of their control, because they're going to feel frustrated and defeated. And I'm not, to me, that's not helpful. I'm going to bring
No. No.
people the information that I feel that will really help them at the level they have control over. And then hopefully get more into getting into having some conversations with the decision makers about how to change systematic things that are creating burnout. Because look, the whole pandemic, the numbers
I
people
was just,
people
yes,
were working
you
at.
gave me my segue. Have you recognized or even acknowledged, realized that this last 2 years has been one of the hardest times in the history of what 50 years that people have been dealing with more issues of mental health and depression and suicide and all that in the last years than any other time in the world?
Yeah, I think one of the significant aspects that's been an ongoing stressor for the pandemic was there was so much uncertainty, right? It felt like every week to every 2 weeks, the rules of engagement were changing. So it was hard to ever feel settled. This is what you do to stay safe. Now, this is what you do. Now, this is what you do. Now, this is what you do. Be around people. Don't be around people. Wear a mask. There were things that were always changing. And so part of what makes us feel calm and safe as humans is having some predictability. The pandemic ripped the rug out from underneath us with that. And so there was a level of tension we were living with ongoingly because we were always uncertain about what was going to happen next. And so a big part of what I've supported individuals with during the pandemic is how do we manage when we can't figure it all out? How do we manage when we can't predict the next step because things keep changing? Right, learning to accept some of the things and work with it versus trying to fight it, because I don't know how many people would tell me like they almost felt like the pandemic had come just for them, and I'm like, well, no, this is a global experience. We're all struggling on some level, and let's learn to figure out how to support each other and to do, work the best we can in a situation that there's aspects that are beyond our control.
Wow. So your expertise has definitely helped a lot of people, not only communities, not only places of work. And I think that your talk is going to be a big thing for a long time, because I think it's still taken us a lot to come to realize and that things are not certain all the time, are going to change. I think they're continuing to be changed, and
Mm.
we like to be in a place that this is going to be okay for, or this is going to be the same thing for a long period of time. I don't like changes. And it's funny because I'm the type of person that I like changes all the time, but this was a little bit too much for me.
Yeah,
I
fair
get
enough.
bored very, very quickly, and for me that was okay. A change is good, but then it's like you said, every week there was a change. So let's have some being able to be steady for a little period of time, and that wasn't the case. So obviously you explained it perfectly, and people like yourself definitely going to help us to overcome those trials and those struggles, and being able to cope with what's coming. And I know a lot of changes. This changed the whole world, and it's going to continue to do so.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, it's been a little bit of a time here. I know we can talk for all night long. This has been incredible. You are going to be in for a huge ride of Woman on Fire on the weekend. I can't wait to meet you in person and be part. Are you going to be able to take part of the 2 days, the
Yeah,
23rd and 24th?
yeah, I'm gonna do
Beautiful.
everything.
Awesome. Are you bringing a significant other or somebody, a mother of, or are you coming on your own for the gala?
One of my best friends is coming with me to the gala.
Nice, nice. Good for you. Good for you. The speakers that are going to be there are going to be, oh, they're always incredible, and yes, it's going to be a big ride, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Natasha, for your
Thank you.
knowledge, your expertise, your talk. Kudos to you again for doing what you're doing. Keep it up, and I can't wait to meet you.
Thank you, Lizzie. I look forward to meeting you too.
Okay, have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. We'll see you back with another Woman on Fire. Bye bye for now.